It's a disaster without them. Boris Johnson calls for Ukraine NATO membership, ASAP.
Here's a summary of the article.
Boris Johnson has said Ukraine should be accepted into NATO, as fast as possible, and that Russia's full-scale invasion is all the evidence needed to show non-membership for Kyiv has been a disaster. Johnson said that President Putin's invasion demolished any argument about not accepting Ukraine into NATO based on a fear of escalating a conflict between Russia and the West. We've tried not having Ukraine in NATO. It's led to the worst war in Europe for 80 years, hundreds of thousands of people dead. It's a disaster. The only answer is to get Ukraine in NATO as fast as possible. Johnson also supports Ukraine's peace plan, recently presented by Ukraine to Saudi Arabia. Johnson also called for the acceleration of more weapons for Ukraine. Let's just accelerate, cut to the chase, give Ukraine what they need to win as fast as possible.
This post received a score of 4,300, with an upvote ratio of 91%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Considering it's Johnson, he probably also prepared a speech calling for them to never join NATO.
Boris' only memorable achievement was his work drumming up support for Ukraine in the earliest days of the invasion. He was one of, if not the first world leaders to visit Kyiv, and many Ukrainians love him for it. If you want a chuckle, check out this painting, in honor of his induction to the Hall of Cossacks. He's apparently often called Boris Johnsonok because his PM Instagram Boris Johnson UK sounds like a typical Ukrainian name.
We had some refugees at my parents' house who were devastated when he resigned while our family was over the moon. Made for an awkward dinner conversation when they asked our opinions.
I was talking to one of my engine buddies about him. She was laughing because she could see how much I wasn't a fan and said he's loved in Ukraine.
Ukraine was pretty much sabotaged by Russia when they had finally started taking steps towards bettering their country. They couldn't become a member of NATO years ago because Russia was always threatening invasion if they were allowed to join. For years most NATO countries cowed to Russia in fear of provoking them. Then when the Ukrainians finally kicked out Yanukovych the Russian puppet 2014, Putin annesses Crimea that same month.
This, very good summary that should be handed out to everyone around the world in their mail or something. So many people don't even know the immediate history prior to the conflict and create the weirdest narratives from thin air or their local fringe propaganda sources.
It doesn't sound like he's suggesting they join NATO while the war is happening. He seems to be advocating for increased support to make sure the war ends so that they can hurry up and join. Boris seems in general to be pretty gross, but my read on him around Ukraine is that this is an issue he genuinely believes in for the right reasons. People are complicated.
Not sure if I got that exact nuance from it, but I could be wrong lol, but on this, he's spot on.
Sit the fuck down Boris, you lying little turd.
Bro lost every ounce of support in his home country so now wants love from a country in a bad position.
Funny isn't it, that every time another one of his scandals came to light he was on the next flight to Kyiv? How very convenient.
Oh what a surprise, Bojo the clown is trying to appeal for attention again. If he died tomorrow the average world IQ would go up by maybe 3 points.
He is really not stupid, but he is in a hole.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.